So I'm having a chat with Blanca. How are you?
Hello, hello. How are you guys?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Thanks so much. We've been playing a new single of yours called Are You Ready? Tell us a bit about the single.
Hey, thank you so much for the love and support on the new song. That means the world to me. Um, this song is super exciting just because it came out of nowhere. We were in the studio and we were trying to create kind of the final piece to my next album that's going to be coming out this year. So this was like, if not the last song, one of the last songs we put together. And I grew up on gospel music when I first started getting into the things of like the Lord and my faith journey. I loved Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond, all these classics. And so as we were building this track, I started singing this old Fred Hammond song that's called Let the Praise Begin. And it just fit perfectly. And I was like, this is it. This is what I want this song to be about, to encourage people to just like prepare their hearts for like whatever 2025 has. I know for me, 2024 was super difficult. It's been kind of like a rough few years, to be quite honest. So I needed kind of like this encouraging anthem to say, I'm ready for whatever God has for me in this next year.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, hopefully there's some good stuff on the way. And you mentioned kind of you started off with the gospel side of things, but your music's got more of a pop R&B, that sort of vibe to it now as well. So how did you kind of develop from the gospel sound to a more incorporative of the more mainstream sounds of the work?
It's so crazy. I feel like my musical journey is all over the place. But like before I started like going to church and listening to gospel music, I loved R&B. Like my inspirations were artists like Brandy and Lauryn Hill and the Fugees. Like they were just artists that I really admired and loved kind of like their flair. So I think one coming from a Latina household, so I'm from Puerto Rico. So I have these Spanish influences, this Afro Latino sound that I love. But then I get introduced to gospel and I love, R&B. So it was kind of hard in the beginning as an artist to really discover what it is that I wanted to do. But I've tried to just create my own lane and merge all these little pieces. So I love pop music, and you have a flair of R&B, you have some gospel in there, you'll have a mix of Latin stuff. So it's just all of like who Blanca is that I try to incorporate in my music.
Nice, lovely. And you mentioned that it's coming off a new record. You got a new record on the way. How's it sounding? And what can we expect to hear on it?
Yes, I am so excited. This album will be out um, hopefully in the next few months, or by the end of this year, you'll have my new music. And it's just that. I think I finally have like tapped in to my sound as an artist, and you can find a little bit of everything I just mentioned. Like my first single off this album was called Worthy. And it was like an Afro beat style, which takes me back to like my Caribbean flavor and my Latin roots. But then this is the second single, Are You Ready, which is more of a gospel R&B flair. And you could just expect to have a lot of these sounds, but in a way that I feel like the music really comes together. It fits, it sounds like me, and the message is all about encouragement and positivity and how to. I've been, like I said, I've been through so much loss and so much trauma in my life that I'm finally finding my voice, finding myself, and I wanted the music to reflect that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the sound that you made with this record, is it the sound that you wanted, or is it just how it turned out in the studio?
Yeah, I think in a lot of my past albums, if you listen to it, I feel like it sounds a little different of like what's coming out now. And a lot of that is because as I feel like I consider myself like a people pleaser. Like I wanted to please my label. I wanted to please the people around me. I felt a little confused as to what it is that they wanted from me. And I think when I finally stopped trying to make it about everyone else and pleasing everyone else and really like dove into my heart and what I felt God was putting in there, like this is the music that came out of that place. And so I feel really proud of it. I feel like it is things that I feel represent me well. And I think a pivotal moment, I'll speak on a studio situation that I had. I was in the studio with a producer, and he asked me to show him like what's my favorite song out of my whole repertoire and the music that I've done, like what would my favorite song be? And I stuttered. Like I couldn't, I felt so nervous to like what to even show him because a lot of the songs that I have, even though they're lovely and they mean so much to me, they didn't represent me well.
Mhm.
And so that was like a pivotal turning point in my career where I was like, I think I need to start speaking up for the things that I want and the sounds that I want on my album. And so this next album really reflects that.
Good, good. And I'm sure you wrote more than what made it onto this record. What happens to those now? Do you consider them again next time round, or do you think you'll kind of bin them off and start again?
What was that?
I'm sure you
The
wrote more than what made it onto this record. What happens to those tracks
Oh,
now?
yeah. Um, to be quite honest, like I think there's only a few that maybe didn't make the album, and I think it's taken the pressure off for me. Before I would feel so like shameful if I created a song and felt like I wasted people's time and we were in the studio and it didn't work, and so it would end up going on the record anyways. But this time I'm like, let's explore something, let's try it out. If it doesn't work, it's okay. Maybe it's something that later on we can revisit, or someone else might wanna, we could pitch it to a different artist.
Mm.
But there's only a few of those on this album. I feel like we were super intentional with every studio session to really dive into what it is that I wanted to make.
Nice, nice. And when it comes to the writing side of things, how do tracks normally start off for you?
So I have an amazing team. I did most of this album with a husband and wife that are from Sweden. And the process that we've created, because they know me so well now, is I'll come in with like a list of ideas. I have a note on my phone where I write down titles, I write down statements or poems or things that like maybe I'm in church and I hear something and I'm like, man, that really spoke to me. I think that should be in a song. And I get with them and kind of share some of these titles and these ideas, and whatever stands out in the moment, we end up writing about. One of the husband works on the track while me and the wife work on the lyrics of what we're trying to make. And by the end of the day, we have a demo of a song completed.
Good, good, good. And people will want to see you doing some live shows. What's your plan? Because I don't think there's anything on your website just yet. So
No, I've been so hyper focused. Like there's so many things that I'm doing. I really wanted to finish the album. I've never done a Christmas album, so I just spent the top of the year still in the studio trying to write a Christmas album that I hope to tour this Christmas. It's so good. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. And so now we're opening up the availability for me to go on the road. I have some shows already in the works and hopefully a tour this fall. So definitely the truth of the matter is I need to make it out abroad here. You know what I'm saying, Jam? Like I need to get out of the US and go over to the UK as well. So hopefully that's something that can happen.
yeah, absolutely. Is there anywhere else on your kind of bucket list that you want to get to and play?
Oh man, Brazil is another one on the bucket list. I get so much love from them, and I've had like some of my most faithful fans that have followed my journey since like Group One Crew days, which was how I started in the industry. And they're from Brazil, so that would be super cool to be able to go over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Blanca, it's been a pleasure having a chat with you.
It's been so great. Again, thank you so much for supporting the music and the new single. It means the world to me, so thank you.